Action Comics 1036, Philip K. Johnson and Daniel Sampier on the art. We begin the War World Saga.
I'm glad we saved this for last. I saved this book. I read this morning when I couldn't fall back asleep. And who boy, was that a mistake? Because then I had a harder time. Because this is Superman that I like. I feel like this is a story that Philip Kennedy Johnson has thought about for years, and what it means, what Mongol represents to Superman, and how their ideologies are going to play out over the War World. And the Sampier art is fantastic. It's chilling when it needs to be. There's some fist pump moments.
There's some very sad moments as well, which we'll get into.
Very, very sad moments on
I think
with it as well.
Yeah, it's a great first issue of the saga. I obviously been building up to it. I think, the first couple of pages, though, are quite interesting. So we have this character who, what was his role?
So they're the Durlan that is sitting on the United Planets Council.
Yeah. So he's taking this new role in the United Planets, but he had like a high up role in his own planet at first, but he's moving to the United Planets. So he's sort of saying goodbye. And the scene plays out, this younger character comes in, and he's very he's like a wise old mentor to this young character. He's very
Yoda.
He's very complimentary to him. He's very kind. He offers advice. He encourages him, and he's a very nice character. And then, but this character's there to tell him that he's, the Superman's put a call saying that there should be help given. The United Planets should intervene and help Superman and Co. At Warworld. And he says, "Oh, that's a bit weird that he's going after Mongol now. Why is he doing it now?" And he's like, he sort of speculates, but he ultimately says the word that there's Philosians involved.
Yep.
And this immediately makes this character, this guy in the United Planets, he immediately starts yelling. He talks down to this character. He says no one should ever hear that this message happened. Don't let anyone else hear it. And if you little wretch, speak a word of this, I will basically kill you. Like he said that all that's been given will be forfeit, and you will die in the same obscurity as your Sal mother. And you're like, oh man, what does Durlan or Durla, whatever their planet, what does that have to do with the Philosians in Warworld? Yeah,
because this is like a long, deep-seated issue.
Like I say,
apparently.
The mention of the word Thelosian turned this guy from seemingly like a really nice mentor figure who's very kind and considerate into a complete and utter dickhead.
Yep.
And like the flip happens immediately. He doesn't even try to just downplay it or sort of convince him that Thelosian's like a made up word. He just reacts like this immediately. Yep. So okay, we're building some bigger things here and what the Telosians mean to the greater world, and maybe some history they share with other characters. Maybe this is a shame thing where the Durlans, they're partly responsible maybe for the fact that they've been, in their history, and this is like a secret he wants to have kept up.
He wants to keep down there because it feels like, to me, reading the whole issue, Warworld feels like something that the greater galaxy has allowed to happen as long as it doesn't bother them. So almost like, you can take these smaller, it's like an appeasement scheme. World War II, right? Yeah, Nazi Germany, take the Czech Republic and the Sudetenland, just leave us alone. And that only can go so far, right? And I was getting those vibes from that scene there. This was a thing, clearly they've been dealing with Mongol for generations at this point, and the different iterations of him.
Yeah, Mongol who was, Mongol who is.
Right, and now it's coming back to bite them because Superman is not going to let it go, right? These branch off Kryptonians came to him for help, and Superman doesn't care about these old peace treaties or whatever. He's going to go do what he needs to. Also, I had now realized, and it's been however many months that we were introduced to the word Warzone. That's the name for people from Warworld. And I was like, oh, damn. I thought it was just Mongols band of people. But when we get to Warworld and we see it is an actual world with different groups all fighting for Mongols, for Mongols' blessing, and you're just like, oh man, this is much more layered than I've ever read any Mongol story.
Yeah. So obviously we have Superman and the Authority traveling towards Warworld, and when we get there, like immediately, like obviously it looks horrific, and they notice on the outskirts of an orbit there's like dead bodies that have been chained up as like a, as a fear mongering tactic. Yeah, this warning, presumably against their own slaves to not rebel, for outsiders to not interfere. Either way, like it's just horrific. And when they land down on the ship, like, well, first of all, actually, there's a character projected, the character who he saw in the Warworld meeting room back in that issue of Action Comics. I was like, yeah, so this guy sounds like, he talks. Yeah, he talks like a villain. Let's be honest, right? He's very ominous.
He talks like a bad guy.
Yeah,
yeah, it's Midnighter.
So it basically saying she stay away and too late for Thaulan and her companions. Yes, but it basically points his way in, and Superman like looks down, and there's basically a track of Thelosians who are on pikes, who are all dead, and just they're up in display, and it's this horrific visual. And the art here is really good because Superman's face, the shocked face as he looks over, and just sees all these dead bodies, and a lot of them have like the Superman emblem, like either cut into their chest or
branded.
Or branded, yeah, like it. And there's just that close-up panel of Superman shedding a tear. It's really dark stuff. So this is not pulling punches. This story. This is portraying Mongol and Warworld as this horrific place.
Yeah, because up to this point, my familiarity with Mongol had been For the Man Who Has Everything, which is one of my favorite Superman stories of all time, with the Black Mercy plant and him trying to steal. He was almost like a third-rate Thanos at certain points. And then he destroys Coast City in Death of Superman, or post-Death of Superman. And Warworld was kind of like a gladiatorial planet. Like, it wasn't like this wretched hellscape. It was like this Rome brought to life on a spaceship. And, there were slaves, but they were gladiatorial combatants. And this takes it to a whole new level. Like, he just committed genocide on this group. On the Thelosians, just to prove a point to Superman.
Yeah. And I mean, this might not be all of them. I suspect there still may be some left, but
maybe. But this is a good number of them that he basically murdered to prove a point.
Honestly, though, like, I would not be surprised if this is the story that makes Mongol an A-list villain. Because it's going to give him depth. It's going to give him this ominous presence. He might never get the adaptation quite as much because I think he's too much like Darkseid visually.
Yeah.
That I don't think he's ever going to get the adaptation on the big screen or anything like that. But
you know what? That said, with all these different Mongols, though, there is a way to do him differently that he doesn't have to be this big hulking, mass, right? Like you can definitely do like a Roman Emperor kind of alien Mongol, and he still is deadly. Superman's not this big hulking mess.
There was a moment actually when Superman was flew out to deal with the body that was on display. There's a nice little moment where some of the other characters in the Authority are talking about how kind and like caring Superman is, and like one of them is like, "Oh, I don't get this. Like, how can you possibly care for people this much?" And the other one, maybe it's Light Ray or whatever her name is. She says, "Oh, but I'd like to feel that." So I don't know, it's interesting to watch maybe how he might inspire some of these other characters as well that are even on the team with him. But they get to some bad guys next to a statue of Mongol, and they let rip. It's only one page, like, and it was 1 2-page spread, I should say. But I was worried that it was going to just feel like a generic action scene. I'm so glad that it was just done and over. And the whole point of it was that Superman takes the head of this Mongol statue, smashes it into the middle of the arena, and just as a statement, if Mongol's going to put out these dead bodies, he's going to take the statue, the head of Mongol from the statue.
And again, it plays in with like what you see in history of when a force goes to liberate another place and they knock down the statues as a symbolic, this is done here.
Oh, for sure.
And
Superman,
yeah.
even when he comes into the arena and he starts talking to the crowd, he says, you've been taught that this is all about strength and honor. You've been taught that these chains are a mark of pride. No, this is slavery, and Mongol is your slaver. And he says that I don't expect that one speech is going to make you realize that you've been a victim this whole time, and like sort of break you out of what you've been taught since you were young, if not your entire life. But when this is over, I'm here to help you. I'm going to help you. And it's a really encouraging speech, and it's kind of like this acknowledgement that a lot of them aren't going to trust him at first is kind of like realistic.
Yeah.
It was a really nice touch. But then we get the what's his name, Chetel.
Chetel, which there's another real world thing is that when they talk about slavery, when they bring it up during the American history, they call it chattel slavery, so it can't be not on purpose. That's what this guy's name is, right? This version of Mongol it's close to chattel because we're doing the whole oppressor type thing.
Yeah, but he comes out. He's the one who's missing like most of his limbs. He's only got one arm, and
he's all bound in all these chains, right?
Yeah, he says he has the most chains because he's been here the longest. He killed everyone in his generation, which is why he's in such bad shape. And like I think it's Manchester Black who gets cocky and says, "Oh, you came out here alone." He's like, "No, I'm not alone." And out walks Mongols like closest like comrades. Which one of them, by the way, the lady with the who's in like sort of the fur like dress and she's got like the helmet thing on. She's straight up like a Cenobite. I was getting Cenobite vibes from this chick.
Well, that's Hellraiser, right? Cenobites.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
But yeah, so you get this, ones like I don't know the names of some of these characters, but they're an impressive variety of villains to face. And out walks Mongol. Well, I say walks. He lands in his big beast.
Well, and this is after the one called Mother, who's the Cenobite looking one, like hits Superman with this like.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I was about to get to. I was just going to mention Mongol showing up, but yeah, you're right. Gotcha. So the big story beat here is that basically Manchester Black and Enchantress have been using illusions and trickery to make people think that Superman's still at the same power levels that he has been. But in actual fact, he is losing his powers and he's not as strong. And Mongol and Co know this, so they are like excited to deal with him because he's not the Superman that otherwise would have to fight them.
Right. They bring up the energy blast that basically Superman has radiation poisoning from that in the first Philip Kennedy Johnson issues. Yeah, that we saw him and John dealing with.
Which they point out in the editor's note here that this same plot beat happened to him in Superman 29, the original Superman 29 in the Golden Age. I'm sure the fact that it's actually Comics 1029 is just a coincidence, but it's a neat one anyway.
Maybe. I mean, Philip Kennedy Johnson loves Superman. You get that from the writing here. So, and then it just completely, as I talked about, the Authority last issue where I couldn't get a beat on where the Morrison stuff happens. Then Philip Kennedy Johnson drops this that, oh no, Superman's been fighting radiation poisoning. He is getting weaker. And everything that happened in that Superman and the Authority Morrison comes into play here. And it's just like, oh, man, I can't keep up with this.
But the beauty of this is that I didn't finish reading that, and it doesn't matter because it's very easy to understand.
You don't have to, but right. But for someone like me that was picking it up, going, "Oh well, the Authority." The only reason I kept finishing it was that, like, the Authority was going to go to Warworld with him, so I was like, maybe this is going to inform that. It ends up being on the same level of this weakened Superman that is using the Authority not as a crutch, but as his team, like the actual purpose, like to help him do this. And here it's shown he's got the gray streak, a la Kingdom Come.
This is after he gets blasted by thingy. Yeah.
But yeah, and he had that gray streak in the Future State stuff.
Well, right? which is probably why that's what it is. It's to make it sync up with that.
And just we get him facing down the Mongol who is, and I'm just. Boy.
Yeah, that's the ending. Is Mongol comes in, and is ready to fight him seemingly, and that's the it's a solid first issue to this arc.
Mm-hmm.
It puts Superman in a very perilous place, and it sets us off in a dark tone, and it really gives us like a dark world for him to like have to fight through and inspire. I
Mm-hmm.
suspect the first chunk of this story is going to be pretty miserable, in a sense that we're going to set up all the things that he has to overcome. So we're going to see him
Yeah,
at
they're
his
gonna put him
worst.
through the ringer, and so he can overcome the odds and do what Superman does and instill hope in this place that's never known it, right? Because that's also the thing is he has to instill hope in Warworld when they don't know what that is, right? They've been led to believe that their chains are strength, and that we've already seen how he tried to do this just one of the Phalosians without law,
Yeah.
right? And how much that kind of backfired. How is he going to do it here?
I
And I
mean,
just want to go back real quick to the scene where he comes in and sees all of the you know the Phalosians on the pikes and stuff, and he cries, right? Superman has a tear. That the guy in the cloak, um, as he is talking about how Superman can't be strong because he's not a warrior, right? He doesn't know what it's like to kill somebody, and that's how Warworld determines strength. Is like they say on Warworld that each person you killed, you basically take their soul and it adds to you, and that for Superman he's weak here because he doesn't have any of that backing him up, and it just kind of shows you the psychology of Warworld at play here too, that the odds are even backed up there, just where it's at from when he arrives, and that's what that saying that they have is follow the dead, that those words carry weight here, that if you seek Mongol, you follow the dead. And it's just like, man, this is a hopeless case for the ultimate hope instiller, and it's just really, really great storytelling.
it's basically just an alien version of Shawshank Redemption. He's Andy Dufresne.
Yeah. So are we gonna get the Rita Hayworth poster corollary here?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I wonder what that's gonna be then.
He's going to have a hologram of some sexy alien lady.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, let's just like you said, it feels like it's going to be miserable, which I'm not. As a Superman fan, I like the stories that tend to be more hopeful, but you got to start at this level to show you, they this, you know, Sampier and Johnson have both showed us the depths of Warworld.
When
right?
I say miserable, I mean it in the best possible way. I mean miserable in the, like, it has to be dark so that when he eventually wins and he eventually inspires some hope, or he eventually takes down Mongol, whatever those beats are going to be and however they're going to play out, like, this sad, oppressed world that he's got into, that doesn't have like even a basis for hope, because at least Earth, when he became Superman, like, the concept of hope wasn't alien. Maybe we forgot how to like embrace it. Maybe we forgot how to like treat it or think about it, but the concepts weren't alien to us. We understood it. This is like something that is, so this is more like him landing in a very oppressive time in history where everyone is so like, because and even some of the worst times in history, there's still a sense that there were people trying to fight back. There were uprisings. There were secret groups trying to form rebellions, whatever it may be. This is a place where seemingly there is no rebellion. No one even has the inspiration to form one.
No, because when they do, right, it's like Fala, and then she gets punished for it, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, man, it's so good. Like I was already excited for this, and then I got through this issue this morning and was like, I need more right now. Like, why isn't this double shipping? I don't want it to hurt the quality, but like, give me more in 2 weeks, please.
So to quote Shawshank Redemption, fear will keep you prisoner, hope will set you free.
Get busy living and get busy dying.
Well, it's also quoting Shawshank, yes. What are you giving Action Comics 1036?
I'm gonna give this a 9.5.
I am giving it my third 9 of the week.
There you go.
I've had 3 9s this week. You know what? Good week. I can't Can't deny that it's a high quality week. So there you go. That's Action Comics 1036.
I take it you didn't read the messy backup.
Oh God, no.
Oh, dude. Okay. Well, I won't even touch on it because I did not like it that much. In fact, I forgot what was going on from the last one that I read. So, yeah, it's not the best.